What's up, guys? Just hanging out. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes probably until people start hopping on. I don't know, it's Saturday. Weekends are always kind of rough, I feel like, for any kind of content because people are busy. But I'm bored. Man, it's been so hot, surprisingly, out here in Utah. 60 degrees right now. First week of February. James, what's up, man? Thanks for hopping on. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to wait a couple more minutes. If you've got any questions or topics you want to throw, feel free to feel free to throw them in the chat. I can't talk. It's Saturday. It's the weekend. I'm usually at home, like working in my office with my snakes. And, oh, sweet. You just got notifications turned on. Yeah, I kept having people hit me up and be like, dude, I'm always missing your lives. I was like, well, I think people have to turn on their notifications. But yeah, I'm usually either working at home because I work mostly remote, but then I go out and I'll meet with people, and I'm involved in a few different things. But yeah, I'm gonna give people like another minute or two. But yeah, if you guys have some topics or some different things you guys want to chat about, I know there's a lot of cool stuff happening right now. There's a lot of people breeding. There's clutches being dropped. I finally figured out how to do my chat on my phone, which is nice. So yeah, I've been diving into 3D printing, been making a ton of stuff for my enclosures. I'm hoping, oh gosh dang it, stupid chat. I'm gonna make you some coasters with the Coiled logos. Oh man, that's super nice of you. Yeah, that's awesome. My kids are so crazy about the 3D printing stuff. Like we'll go to the gas station or we'll go to some, Dollar General or whatever, and they've in the front by the cash register, they've got all those 3D animals and dragons and everything like that. And so they're absolutely obsessed with them. I'm like, you know how much it costs to build one of these? Like, we should just get a 3D printer at this point. So if you've got any tips or any insights or feedback on machines, I would love that. But yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. And I appreciate you for tuning in. You've always been like just super positive and giving really good feedback. So yeah, and like I said, weekends are kind of tough, even for lives. Like Rodney won't usually go live on the weekends. I don't like usually doing lives on the weekend, but I'm just bored for the next like 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah, and the 3D printing stuff has really come so far in the last, I feel like 5 years, with the amount of stuff they can do, the size, and just how clean the end product comes out. I've been really blown away by some of the different things that people have been able to build. But I'm excited to see how you're going to incorporate that into your enclosure stuff. That's going to be really exciting. I mean, I'm trying to think, who was it? Oh shoot, I forget the brand name, but they were building those 3D printed like racks, not racks, 3D printed climbing. It's like a climbing stand for hatchling racks. Like, place them in the hatchling rack, and it gives the hatchling some places to climb on and hang out. Gosh, I forget the name of the company. Yeah, shoot me some pictures. That'd be awesome. It's interesting because, yeah, I just wanted to share some updates on kind of what's going on my side. I posted up yesterday. I posted on my story. I've got that F1 Calicoa female I've had for like 4 years, And she's an F1 Labline Calato. I think it was Lucas's first healthy clutch that he had. This is February of 2022. Those hatched out, and I've had her for 4 years, and she's amazing, super well tempered. And I just posted her up on my story saying, "Hey, I'm thinking about making her available." And I've had a number of people reach out. I've got a guy that uh, has talked about like a payment plan, stuff like that. I'm definitely open to payment plans, just so people know. Like I'm definitely not opposed to that, and because ultimately, until the snake's paid off, you're not getting the snake anyway. So I know people have budgets and stuff like that too, and I had a budget when I started, and I think I'm trying to think. I think the 4 animals I got from Reach Out, I think I put 50% down, and then I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks later, I did the other 50%. So I'm cool with that. She's definitely not going to be. I mean, she's definitely not cheap with what I'm asking for, but the value, in my opinion, is certainly there. Number one, she's a new bloodline. She's an F1. Number two, she's 4 years old and she's about 5.5 feet. And so I think over the next 8 to 10 months with, rabbits or pigs or whatever, she's going to be able to be ready to breed next season. And then she's super well tempered. I've worked with her a ton. My kids have worked with her. So it's bittersweet. And the main reason I'm looking at moving her is because, I've had some pivots and some things that I want to do with some of my projects. And I want to be very selective with the animals I work with moving forward. So she's an awesome animal, and I probably am going to regret selling her. But I've got a guy that's interested. He's here in Utah that I've been talking to. And so I've actually had a bunch of people reach out. So we'll just see who ends up, pulling the trigger on her. But I think she's an amazing animal. And like I said, I'll probably regret selling her. But it just goes to show, once again, I'm trying to. This is the first time I've ever sold one of my snakes, and kind of going through that process. And once if you're taking care of something for 4 years, you get attached to it. So it is definitely tough, and I'm going through those feelings. But yeah, I think so. And I mean, she's definitely not cheap. I think she'll be gone by Monday. But I really am going to try to pivot into, some locality stuff. I also have, I've got some really cool kind of potential plans. There's this 93 point something percent super dwarf anery female that I have. That's right around the same size as my Calatoa, and she's Pos Het purple. And I've got that snow female, so I'm probably going to be pivoting and focusing on some purple stuff and bringing localities in and doing some specialized stuff on that front. So I kind of have that purple/snow project department that I'm working on. I've got my cow stuff. I've got my cow stuff that I'm working on right now. That super fan of males on breeder loan, but I've got my head OGS. I'm hoping and praying that she cycles. He's been arching, and I haven't really seen them lock up. I've thrown him in there. I think she's getting close, but I don't think that's happened yet. So I'm gonna try feeding her maybe tonight. Actually, I think she needs one more shed, but she's definitely on edge, like more than normal. And then the other one I'm really excited about too is my recessive project, which is that hypo project. And I'm going to be taking my hypo to that Daniel Soli's female, and he hasn't really been arching, so I think she's probably a shed cycle away as well. But she's definitely thickened up, and she's definitely being cranky in kind of changing there. Let me see what people are saying here really quick. Brian, don't do it, Spence. You will regret it. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna regret it. If I wasn't buying a Halma right now, I would take her, dude. Like I said, it is like, yeah, you're letting go. It's like it's one of your kids. You know what I mean? That's how you feel about some of these animals. But I got to be smart, and that's the other thing is, if I had like my whole basement that I could kind of I could utilize for space, then I'd definitely keep her. But what are you selling? I'm selling my F1 lab line Kalatoa female. She just turned 4, and she's about 5.5 feet. So that's like a fresh bloodline, and then I think she'll be ready to breed next season. I have one buyer that's like, he's kind of gone back and forth with me. I've had actually a few buyers reach out and ask for information, but I have one guy that's here local in Utah that wants her really bad, but he's asking for a payment plan, and he hasn't greenlit that plan yet. So yeah, we'll see kind of what happens, but she's awesome. I mean, super well tempered. She'll be an amazing pet as well, on top of being a breeder. My kids all worked with her a ton when she was a hatchling, and she's the best. So yeah, it sucks, but on the flip side of that, I need to kind of prepare for phase 2 and get some racks, and I really need to this year go and get about 4 or 5 6-foot enclosures from Jungle Cages. So all that stuff's it's just more money, you know what I mean? And I just need more space. I need to move some stuff around. And so it is hard, but like I said, I'm trying to hyper focus on a couple projects, which is I think Jen has a clutch mate. Yep. That you're 100% right. I think honestly, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think Jen literally just fed her sister more than I've probably fed that female. That's probably the only thing that's different. So she's definitely close. Like she'll be ready next season if you hit her with food, for sure. I was actually kind of shocked, and then I saw the size of her female. I was like, okay, her female's a little bit bigger, but still, she went pretty early. She went at what, 3.5 or something. So yeah, really cool animal, and yeah, man, because I was thinking about it, I was like, do I potentially sell my visual anery female that's Paws Head Purple, because she's like 89% super dwarf, like 4 or 5% jamp or something crazy, or 6% jamp. But I was like, no, I think I need her more long term for purple stuff and snow stuff. So because I've got that snow female, so that will be a good little like solid 2 females for that stuff. And then I've got my head OGS. Hopefully we get some 68.75% visual or cows this year. And I mean, that would be half a clutch of cows. So depending on if she goes and when she goes and clutch size, that could be groundbreaking. That could be some pretty big stuff there. And then the head hypo stuff, the cool thing about the head hypo stuff, big reason why I bought that male specifically is because he's a platy tiger. So you'll have those codoms. You can get those codoms in there with it too. So they won't just be wild type hets. So that's kind of fun. So, and then I've got that Coyote clutch that's going to be more of kind of my pet. I shouldn't really call them lower tier because they're going to be high percent stuff, but they are going to be, I would say, more affordable than my higher percent projects or my other projects that I'm working on. So that's a real big reason why I switched things up, because I wanted to have a balance of things that I could, because I've had a lot of people just want pets reach out to me in the last like 4 years, and I don't want to just have super high percent investment kind of stuff for people. I just don't think that's wise. So having stuff that's more affordable and like a bunch of codom stuff, and I think is having kind of that mix and blend is important. So, and I'm hoping she gets gravid here. I mean, it's been a couple weeks of her and that male from Nathan Katz breeding. So I'm hoping things are moving. I've been doing this like 4-day on, 2 or 3 day off schedule with them, where I give them a break, and then as soon as I put them back in there, it's like they're right back kind of into it. So I feel like that helps, is like giving them breaks and breaking it up, throwing the male back in, and every time it's like right into arching, right into spurring. And then usually that night they'll get close to a lock, or I'll actually see a lock, and then I'll give them a couple more days, let them hang out. Sometimes I'll catch them, you know, going at it again during, you know, in the middle of the night, and then I'll give them a break and reset, give them, you know, give them both water, and try to keep things moving in the right direction. So that seems to be kind of working. And man, I really don't know. Well, I don't know anything because I'm going through it. But I think with the Coyote, she shed out, and then it's like, I swear she almost had 2 sheds that were like stacked up. Like she shed out, she started breeding, and now it's like she almost has like a residual shed that is still there. I don't know. It was the weirdest thing, man. I don't know how to describe it, because it took her 4 months, almost 4 months to shed, from late summer to now when she's breeding. And man, it's been weird. It's been weird. So hopefully everything's moving in the right direction. Yeah, I think the breaks is good. I even took the male out because that male, I mean, he's in breeder mode anyway. I fed him once, like a couple weeks ago. He was kind of resistant to it, and then he took a meal once I took him out and gave him a break. So I haven't been feeding him the last 2 weeks or so since, but because he's in his, you know, breeding mode, he already kind of had a little bit of a messed up face. I think he was a bad pusher over at Nathan's place before I got him, and that's kind of gotten worse. So I feel bad, you know, and he's in breeder mode, but I do try to soak him when I take him out and, like, you know, help his face kind of recover a little bit too. It sucks, like, seeing that, but yeah, he's just go, man. He's been really good. He was, and he's pretty small for his age. I think he's coming up on 5 years now, 5 something years. He's pretty small. So anyway, I hope things work out. I mean, I hope things work out with that pairing. And, you know, the more I've been diving into locality stuff, I was even talking to Rodney today. I mean, I really want to I'll probably try to pick up a Halma male, and just depending if the Coyote goes this year, just depending on how she rebounds, maybe I'll wait a year, maybe I'll try a Halma Coyote cross next year and then give her the next year or 2 off. But I really want to see those Halma Coyote crosses. I think those would be sick. So yeah, James is sending me some stuff from his 3D printing. James Webb is using his 3D printer to make some accessories for his enclosures. I think that's sick. But yeah, I don't know what else is going on. What else has you guys got going on? I know, Brian, you just had a viral reel go off. So congrats on that. Your first milli reel. I was gonna say, I don't know if you posted it to YouTube Shorts, but I would definitely see how it does on YouTube Shorts if you haven't. YouTube Shorts is a great way to get traction on YouTube. That's basically all I did for like 2 years. It's just YouTube Shorts stuff. But yeah, I mean, I got to make more content too. I've been kind of lazy. Just had a lot going on. So, and we've been doing a lot of like next gen content, and we got to do some more podcasts, and Rodney's really trying to figure out for between my channel and his channel, being able to sync up, do a live, but then stream and broadcast to Instagram, Facebook, even like the next gen Facebook page, potentially the next gen Instagram, and do some other things. Like if we could do a broadcast out to like 4 or 5 different platforms, I mean, it would be sick. So Anyway, we're trying to figure that out, and he's messing around with it. Let's see. It's still running on IG. Yeah. TikTok, I would maybe experiment with TikTok too. If you guys want a really good platform to post content, I actually haven't been using it for Coiled, but I've used it for other businesses. It's called Metricool, Metricool, Metricool. And actually, I think your first 3 platforms are free, where you can just post content. Like, you upload your content to the platform, schedule it, and then it posts in like 3 different social media outlets or platforms. And then I think the paid one is only like 15 or 20 bucks a month, and then you can post it to even more. So, but I tell people, I'm like, hey, if you find yourself kind of in the rat race of not posting consistently or whatever, I would just get a free account on Metricool and get your content created, and then upload it to Metricool, and then schedule it that way, and then play around with that and have it get put out. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot to keep up with if you're doing like TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. And the nice thing is, some of those integrate now. Like Instagram, you post a reel to Instagram, and you can have that go to your Facebook page. And so that makes things a lot more smooth, and you can schedule directly on like Instagram. Like, that's what I do with a lot of the next gen stuff. I know people have watched a lot of those episodes, but we're getting a lot of traction by just posting clips from old episodes or whatever. And I just schedule one a day at least, and then I'll go in and try to post more if we have more, and mix it up. But yeah, it's an interesting game, but it's been really fun. I mean, I haven't bred anything yet, technically, and I haven't sold anything yet, but I'm excited to hop in and start doing some of that stuff, and being able to have some awesome babies to market. I think that's really what I'm excited about, and that's another conversation piece that I've been going over with Rodney is, we obviously do the breeder spotlights. He's doing some of the lives where he's letting people come on. We're doing the podcast and all these different things, trying to get other people exposure. But I mean, if we can help other people sell some of their stuff and get exposure, I mean, that's a big part of why we're doing what we're doing, if that makes sense. So I think, who was it? Shoot. No, I think it was Randy that was on one of the lives for 10 minutes or something the other day, and showed some of his stuff off. And I think he got a sale out of it, which was awesome. I was like, dude, that's sick. So let's see. Excited to follow along the whole breeding journey of the incubating, hatching through the selling. Yeah, no, I'm excited too, and that's another thing that I was telling Rodney. I was like, dude, I basically have had to create content without breeding for 4 years, and it's been fun. But I think it's going to be even more fun once I have like babies on the ground, and we're going through the incubation process and the hatchling process, and being able to show stuff off on lives and on some long form content. But just having a place where people can hang out again and feel comfortable. I really don't feel like that exists, and we're trying to build something like that back up, where people feel comfortable coming on the lives or sharing what they've got and getting real exposure. Because there's a lot of people that will have like Instagram accounts, or they've got their business name, and nobody knows who they are. They don't know their first name, last name, what they have. And so if we can help bridge the gap, I think that's a big win for us. Not to mention, you look on Morph Market, and you just see names, and you see these random animals, but you can't put a face to a name. I mean, it's hard to feel comfortable buying from someone that you don't really know. So yeah. What else is going on? I know Jen's got a bunch of stuff. She's got like some 50%, 50% endos snow stuff, I think. 50% dwarf Indo stuff. I don't know why we don't have any super dwarf Indo stuff. Really. I mean, I just don't think it's been a priority for a lot of people to work with Indo. But I love Indo stuff. I think it looks great, and you can play around with it. But yeah, there's not a lot of people doing that. Oh, you've got some stuff? Dream Reptiles. I think I know who you are, Dream Reptiles. Forgive me, but I know for whatever reason I'm blanking on the actual name. But so you've got Indo stuff in the incubator, is what you said? Yeah, James. James, I think what is your handle? Is it just James Web Fitness, or it's something else too? I think, right? I'm trying to remember. Anyway. Dude, there's so many people that like hit me up and I've connected with, and they'll have like their personal page, and then they'll have a snake page, and then they'll have like another business page. So it's a lot to keep up with. So forgive me if I don't. Oh, dude, I'm sorry. Freaking A. So I'm sorry, Ryan. Gosh, I should have known that. GC Motley Indo Snows. Okay. What's the percentage on those, Ryan? Are you working those into Super Dwarf, or is that a mainland or locality pairing you're doing? Yeah, I mean that's gonna be dope stuff, dude. Yeah, we might have to stay in touch too, because like I said, I've got that purple snow female that I really like. That's got that chaotic, broken up back pattern, and then I've got that 93% Super Dwarf / dwarf anery female that's pos het albino that I want to prove out to see if she's albino or het purple. So 50% jam. Nice. Okay. So is that, I'm trying to think, because I think yeah, I mean, I think I'm trying to remember what is Jen's 50% jam too? Maybe I'm off on that. I feel like a lot of that stuff has been 50% jamp, if I'm not mistaken. I could be off. Okay. Yeah, Ryan, we need to have you on the podcast, man. I don't know what's going on. You were in Peru, down with Andrew. I know we got to get Andrew on the podcast. That's been driving everybody crazy. But yeah, you were down in Peru. You got stuff hatching or in the incubator. Yeah, we got to get you on, man. You and Andrew. What's up, nerds? Oh, hers are different, Ryan, in terms of what she just made? Yeah, I was sick. I was sick really bad a few weeks ago. All my kids, like one by one, all 5 of them, it was just like, just went through them. My wife was so sick. She was out of commission for 3 days, and I was fine the whole week. And I was like, I'm going to make it through. And coming to find out, after all of them were getting better, I got hit with it bad. So, yeah. And I was telling, if you guys are on here and or whatever, I think you got to go to your notification bell and turn it on for lives, or turn that on to get notified. Yeah, 5 kids, dude. It's crazy, man. It is. My life is insane, and they're all under what? My oldest is 8.5. So, yeah, my home life is crazy. But it's fun, man. It's really fun. That's a lot, bro. Yeah. I've got 5 kids. We've got Coiled. I'm doing stuff with the Next Gen, podcast. I'm involved in a couple different business ventures. We had chickens and ducks. We actually just got rid of them because they stopped. They were about 3 years old, all of them. They stopped laying, so we're starting over this spring with new chickens and ducks. I'm 33 and a half. I'll be 34 in June. So, yeah, dude, my life is crazy. That's what, like, that's why it bugs me when people are like, oh, dude, I mean, some of my friends, I should say, they're like, oh, I don't have time. I'm like, dude. What's up, Rob? How are you, man? Yeah, it's fun. You know, my oldest two, actually my second oldest son, he's only, I'm trying to think, he's 7. Man, he is like the ultimate sales guy. Like he'll go and I'll bring him to meetings sometimes and stuff, and he loves sales. Like that's his thing. So I was like, all right, man, like you better gear up if you want to earn your commissions. Like we gotta come up with a game plan and a script here, and you need to be practicing that. Answer the phone. Oh shoot! So you had a female boa, Rob, that cycled, and you didn't have a male for him. Male for her? Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, like for me this year, it's like in a perfect world, I wouldn't. Normally, it's like I don't want to have to depend on other people or split a clutch with somebody or whatever. But in all honesty, I'm glad I'm doing things how I'm doing it, where I've got 2 males on breeder loan and I can send them back and make some stuff that I want to make. So especially when you're starting out, I mean, that's always my biggest piece of advice for people is just focus on your females. And because I mean, honestly, you should be able to tap in and get better males essentially every year if things are moving forward. So yeah, it's not ideal that I have to split a clutch here or there, but it is kind of nice to have stuff on loan instead of having to buy every male that I need. But yeah, that's unfortunate. And you know, one of the downsides too to working from home is, especially because my office is literally in my snake room, is it's hard to tell any major differences because you're just constantly looking at your females. And so there's times where I'll just ban myself from going to my snake room and just be like, all right, just let them cook, let them do their thing for right now. You're watching them too much. So yeah. What else is going on? I'm trying to think. Eric went on that trip down to Peru too. That sounds exciting. Gens are 50%, but they're dwarf, right? They're Jamp too, is what I believe. Yeah, Andrew's got a lot of stuff coming down the pipe. He's really got to get back and get his stuff together because he's got a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, Indo Super Motley Snows. Yeah, I think I did see one of her posts, Jen's posts about that. That's some next level stuff, man. And once I just like seeing Indo being worked on. Because once again, I mean, we should have some of that stuff by now, but we don't. You know, somebody's got to take some of these projects on and just focus. I don't even know what Andrew looks like. yeah, most people don't. I think he does that. I don't know why. I think he likes playing the Bruce Wayne role and not showing his face. I love Andrew, don't get me wrong, but I'm just like, dude, like, you know, gone are the days where you can just pretend to be Bruce Wayne and not show your face, but it's intentional. Yeah, it's intentional, dude. No, I've only met Andrew once. It was at Retic Fest in 2022. It was briefly though. I didn't really hang out with him. Yeah, he's like one of those, he's like Marshmallow. He's like one of those DJs that wants to hide their identity. No, he's cool. I love talking to Andrew. He's a good dude. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of where everything goes on the locality front too. I always think that about Anunnaki. Do they make any content? Awesome snakes, but no content. Yeah, I mean, they've got some really interesting stuff going on with the paradoxing stuff. I think they named a line after that, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I mean, they seem super awesome. I haven't talked to them on the phone or anything, but every time we talk in the DMs, they're just super, super, super nice. and they're working a lot with Coyote, so we've got that in common. So I talk to them. I talk to them here and there, but yeah, a lot of their content I feel like is I don't know, is usually around their breeding stuff, like when they have stuff available or when they get new stuff in, like new shipments. That's usually when I see them pop up. But they're really supportive. I mean, they're all over Instagram in terms of liking, sharing, commenting even. And so they seem like good people. I don't really know who's behind that account per se though, or what their names are. I think if I'm not, I don't know if they're down in Arizona. I don't know if they're, I don't think they're down in Arizona. I could be wrong on that. Ryan, I need someone to run my social media. Dude, you've got a lot going on too though, Ryan. You know, you've got, from what I've heard, I won't bring anything up, but you've got a lot going on, right? With snakes. And then I think you've got some other business stuff you're working on too. So Midwest, those are my folks. I'm originally from Wisconsin. All my family, both sides are from Wisconsin. So Ryan and I have that in common. We're cheeseheads, Packer fans. And but I grew up kind of all over the country. My dad was in medical sales, and so we moved a ton when I was a kid. But I've lived in Florida for a couple years. I lived in Texas, Austin for a few years. I went to high school in Cincinnati, Ohio. But so a lot of my youth was in the Midwest though. I love the Midwest, but now I'm out here in Utah, and I gotta say, do not miss the humidity. That's one thing that I love about being out west is the dry air, man. No humid or muggy summers over here. So yeah, it's but you know, I was actually gonna say, because I had, like I said, I have a serious buyer for that F1 Kalatoa out here in Utah, and we've got Mayray, we've got wildfire retics. So Weston, he only lives like 15 minutes from my house. I guess he moved from Park City, so he's close. I know Clint's Reptiles really isn't like super door for retic stuff, but he's got a few retics. He's cool. I actually held one of my kids' birthday parties at Clint's Reptiles, like right when they opened their storefront. So that was fun. We've got Richard Bilbo, who's like an hour and a half south, and I've never met him. You know, he likes my stuff or whatever. And I've got some of his, the descendants from that White Diamond line from Garrett. I know he's done a lot of stuff with Garrett in the past. I don't know if they're still working together or what their relationship is. I would love to go down to his place, but do a tour of their facilities. Yeah, I really should. I should. That would be some really good long form content, actually. And that's the other tough thing, is like coming up with ideas for long form content can sometimes be tough. I'm trying to think who else is in Utah. There was like an 801 Retix. He had a couple tribal stuff. He had some Medus, but he hasn't posted on Instagram for like 2 years. So I don't know what's going on with. I should probably hit him up and see what's going on. Who else is out here in Utah? Nathan Katz is in Salt Lake City. So yeah, there's the Landris Reptile. She's just a college student. She has like a maybe 1 or 2 super dwarf retics. So there's more and more keepers that are getting into it out here. Anunnaki is my mentor. Yeah, I finally learned how to say their name. Thank goodness. I was sounding like an idiot for like 3 weeks on the podcast. Yeah, good people, man. I really, honestly, I want to see, because Richard Bilbo's been following me on Instagram. He's seen all my stuff for the last 4 years. You know, I don't know what his personal opinion is of me. I mean, if he'd be cool with me coming down, but I would love to see what he has, because he doesn't post or talk about anything. Like, he is like hush hush behind closed doors kind of guy. And man, I would love to see if he has anything crazy. I bet he does, because he's done a lot of stuff with that White Diamond line with Garrett. Some of the snow stuff and purple stuff. So, but yeah, funny enough, I was actually working down where he worked or not where he works, where he lives for a long time. And then after I quit that job, I found out that he worked like 2 minutes from where I was working. And I was like, are you serious? Illinois got a bunch of retic guys. Yeah. I feel like, where else? Pennsylvania, where Rodney's at. There's a bunch of guys in PA, Pennsylvania, that area. And I think we're up to what? Is it 10 states now where we can't have retics? I mean, it's getting more and more limited, I feel like. Maybe I'm off on that, but I think it's close to 10 states now. It's got to be. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how things unfold. But once again, if you guys aren't already excited about where things are headed, I'm telling you right now, like, now is the time. Like, I thought the time was 2020. I truly believe that with locality stuff, like, the people that are really like thinking creatively and getting into some of this locality stuff and getting that into your projects, like, I think you're going to be ahead of the game. Because think about it. Like, you take a Halma or Ternate to, you know, some of your projects or some of these different things. You make hets, or you make, you know, Kodam stuff even, and you're able to get your own picks of the clutch and hold those back for certain traits. You grow those up, you rinse and repeat, you do it one more time, and it's like you're going to have your own look to stuff. I think that's my prediction. So, you know, for the next 5 years, 6 years, I think people can really set themselves up in a cool way. And there's such a big web of where you can take things and how you can do things, in my opinion, now with some of these different localities, now that they're getting the love and exposure that they deserve. You know, I was not big into, I didn't even look into Ternates or the, you know, Mindanaos or Halmas at all 4 or 5 years ago. And they were around. People were buying them. Super Malukus. I was like, what the heck's a Super Maluku? And it's just because I was in the cult. I was being brainwashed, like, you know, these are the only island localities that matter or exist or whatever. And so it really just kind of limited the creativity aspect. And then we've kind of seen over time, like, people have done kind of the similar breedings, or they continue to take certain projects back to, like, Kalatoa. It's like Kalatoa can be used, you know, there's a couple pretty major value points to using a super dwarf, which is, you know, obviously shrinking down projects and some other things. Back pattern's another one, the uniformity on it. But then when it comes to some of the other things, like reducing color, reducing some of the contrast, I think people got carried away with that. Like, oh, I'm just focused on percentage. And it ended up fading out a lot of projects. So I'm really interested to see some of the high-end stuff that we have that, you know, looks decent, but doesn't look amazing, and taking that to, but it's high percent super dwarf, taking that to the Ternate stuff or Halma stuff and seeing, you know, does that one breeding bring back most of the color and the contrast and pattern and stuff. That's what I'm excited to see, because if that happens, or I should say when that happens, because I think it is going to happen, it's going to get really fun, because you're going to see just mixed bags of stuff. And the goal, once again, is to make the best looking stuff, right? So yeah, it's an interesting time, guys. And like I said, that's a reason why I'm moving one of my females out, is to make some room. And I'm kind of rethinking kind of what I want to do moving forward. And it's not a big change. I think with like the cow stuff, I'm going to still keep pushing percentages on the cow stuff, because that really hasn't been done yet. I mean, I think the highest made is what, 65 or 67% technically. I think Rick O'Neill made a cow that's 67, or he made a clutch that was like 67% or something wonky, but I'm pretty sure most of that clutch died. So anything past that really hasn't been made yet. So I want to keep pushing that stuff forward. I think the Golden Child OGS stuff to help to make Golden Child cows, you know, I think we're stuck at about 50% with some of that stuff too. So there's still some cool things that can get pushed forward. Super Phantoms, I think that's not necessarily a super exciting breeding to do, I think, for a lot of breeders, because they're like, oh, we're just Phantom to Phantom or Super Phantom to Phantom, you know. But I think people love Super Phantoms, right? So yeah, Super Phantoms, cows, purples and snows, and then I've got my big recessive project, which is the hypo stuff. That's kind of where I'm pivoting to, and honing in on how to make unique looking purples, you know, high percent cow stuff, but then also I think I want to see kind of what locality influence. We've seen what some locality influence does to like Phantom and stuff. I think OGS, there's some potential with OGS that hasn't really been played with too much yet. You know, anery cows, you could say, that kind of stuff. My head OGS is pos het anery, and I think my Super Phantom is a pos het anery too, I believe. So it'll be interesting, guys. It'll be really interesting to see if I can make that pairing happen. It'd be really cool. And yeah, I mean, I've dreamed about making cows, and I think Hell Creek has some cows up. I'm trying to think. Reach Out, I think, might still have a cow or two available. I saw Hell Creek has some cows on Morph Market. I was actually looking last night. I think he's got a couple. But yeah, I'm just, once again, I'm just kind of shocked that hasn't made more progress than where we were at 5 or 6 years ago. Because I remember it was like, was it 2019? I think Garrett made 50% Kalatoa cows is when he made those. But I think Garrett sold all the cows he had at that time because he was getting ridiculous pricing on those, which you could argue that it was deserved. It hadn't been done before, but I think he sold, I could be off, this is just speculation or what I heard through the grapevine, I think he sold one of them for like 30 grand. So yeah, I mean, I think not enough cow. Oh, well, and then we've got that one guy, I forget his name, the breeder that just cranked out, I think half the clutch is going to be cows. On the mainland side, he had like 100 and something eggs. Do you guys know his name? I forget what his name is, but I think half that clutch, if they're all good, are going to be cows with how he did that breeding. So there's going to be a lot of mainland cows available, but once again, there's not a lot of locality cows or even super dwarf cows that have been produced ever. So Anunnaki has 2 cows, 1 GC and 1 normal. I believe theirs are 56% in their Ivy line. Yeah, I was curious because I was seeing Hell Creek's, I was seeing Brian's listings, and maybe I'm just stupid. I don't really understand it, but I know he brings up like nerds. I think it's the Ivy line stuff, or I don't understand what that means, like in the listing. And like I said, I might just be stupid on it, but I'm really curious, like why that's important, you know, and the percentages too, because I think I looked at one, and I don't know if it said super dwarf or it said dwarf cow, I forget, on one of his listings, but I honestly just didn't understand like what he was saying on it. But yeah, I mean, and once again, it's like who's out there right now that's creating high quality purples, like consistently, or focusing on it. It's like, no, you'll see some byproduct purples for people trying to go for snows and stuff. I believe they go calico or something. From my understanding, you can't breed for calico. I could be off on that too, but you correct me, guys, if I'm off. But because I think I've asked Rodney about that. Because if you guys look at, Rodney has an old YouTube channel. I forget the name of it. It was R&B Reptile something else. And I told him, I was like, dude, you need to move these old videos over to your new channel. But he had I think it was a Halma that went calico. I think it was a Halma or a Ternate that went calico, and it looked absolutely insane. Like, absolutely, it was one of the craziest looking retics I've ever seen. I think it died though. I think it died, and I think it was wild caught, if I'm not mistaken. And but I asked him, I was like, can you breed for calico? And he told me no. So once again, I don't know, because it'd be dope if you could. It'd be dope if you could. I mean, everybody always is like in shock when they see a calico that's pretty far gone in terms of like color and stuff like that. They look sick. So yeah. And it's funny because on my lives, like on these lives and stuff, after they're posted, I always get one dislike. And I'm so I'm not gonna call out who I think it is, but like, just know, dude, like, if you're watching me, man, just relax, bro. Just have a good time here. I'm not trying to hate, okay? Just relax. Give me a thumbs up. Don't give me a thumbs down. Come on. Dang, at 7 years old, the grandfather, look up Nerd's Ivy Line Moo Cow. I don't think you can breed for it, but if there's a chance it can pop up. Okay. Well, I mean, that's a cool surprise. If you're able to get something cool out of it, like, I think that's dope. But I just didn't understand like the listing or why he had that in like the main like header. It's like that's like a nice little follow-up. Like, hey, there's a chance. But grandfather to my mainland cow popped up calico at 7 years old. Yeah, 7 years old. That's crazy. That's pretty far along. Maybe I'm off on that, or maybe I don't know if that's typical for calico. If it takes like years and years and years. I think Rodney said that one that he got in, and it was only a year or two old, and it really started going white pretty quickly. So yeah, I mean, it's fun, man. It's fun seeing what people are working on and seeing what people like. And I think we all can agree that we all have different tastes and different things. But, I mean, ultimately, I think it's also important to look at what you have, look at certain localities that you can potentially implement, and then also think about your customers, because there's only so many hardcore super dwarf breeder enthusiasts that are going to buy expensive retics. there's a very small community and niche for that. And I'm not saying you can't make money and sell some of the high-end stuff, but I think you got to be able to just make really nice looking stuff that's affordable. If it's pure locality stuff, if it's locality cross stuff, if it's locality morphs, the focus, in my opinion, needs to be what aesthetically is going to look really, really good. And because if you make snakes that are just ugly or boring, you're not gonna be able to move them. There's no, like, what is the value, right? And you hate kind of thinking about like that or talking like that, but that's just the reality, like, so that's something that's been kind of going through my mind quite a bit. Just like, how can you take these ingredients and make just the best looking stuff? And there's nothing wrong with in order to get here, you have to cross this bridge. Like with the Indo stuff, for example, it's not like we have a bunch of Indo stuff available, but anyway, we'll figure it out. Well, thanks guys. I appreciate you. I got to run, but this has been awesome. And yeah, if you guys want to shoot me a DM on IG, if you guys have questions, or if you want to come on the podcast, like I said, if your notifications aren't turned on, just go to the bell button or the settings button, turn that on so you guys know when I hop on here and we can chat. But this has actually turned out to be a pretty good live for a Saturday, so this has been really fun. So anyway, well, much love, guys. Have a great one. We'll chat soon.